Imagine this for a second. You walk into a bank, deposit your money, and feel safe. Your money is secure. It's just sitting there, waiting for you whenever you need it. But here's a strange question. If your money is just sitting there, then how is the bank building massive buildings, paying employees, and making billions every year? Are they charging you directly? Not really. Are they investing their own money? Not exactly. So where is all this money coming from? Here's the truth most people never think about. Banks don't just store your money. They use it. And once you understand how they use it, you'll never look at your bank account the same way again. Most people believe one simple thing. My money is safe in the bank, and it just stays there. That's the common assumption. You deposit 10,000 rupees, and you imagine that exact 10,000 is just sitting quietly somewhere, waiting for you. But that's not how banks work. In reality, the moment you deposit money, it stops being idle. It starts working. But not for you, for the bank. And this is where most people misunderstand the entire system, because the bank isn't just a storage locker. It's more like a business machine, a machine that uses your money to generate more money. Let's break this down in the simplest way possible. You deposit 10,000 rupees in your bank account. The bank doesn't keep all 10,000 rupees locked away. Instead, it keeps a small portion, let's say 1,000 rupees, as reserve. And the remaining 9,000 rupees? The bank lends it to someone else, maybe as a personal loan, maybe as a home loan, maybe as a business loan. Now here's where the magic happens. The bank charges interest on that loan, let's say around 10%. So that 9,000 rupees turns into 9,900 rupees over time. Meanwhile, what does the bank give you? Maybe 3% interest on your savings. So your 10,000 rupees becomes 10,300 rupees. Now look at the difference. The bank earns much more than it pays you. And that gap, that difference between what they earn and what they give you, that's profit. This is called the interest spread. But banks don't stop here. Let's go one step deeper. That person who took the 9,000 rupee loan, they spend it. And the person who receives that money deposits it into another bank. Now that bank again keeps a small reserve and lends the rest. This process keeps repeating. So your original 10,000 rupees doesn't just stay 10,000 rupees. It multiplies inside the banking system. This is how money expands in the economy, and banks are at the center of it. Interest is just one part of the story. Banks also make money through fees. Think about it. ATM withdrawal charges, credit card late fees, account maintenance fees, transaction charges. Individually, they feel small, 100 rupees here, 200 rupees there. But across millions of customers, that becomes a massive revenue stream. And here's the psychological trick. Because these amounts are small, most people ignore them. They don't question them. They don't track them. And that's exactly why they work. Banks rely on this behavior. Small, frequent charges that people don't notice add up to huge profits. Now let's talk about one of the biggest money-making machines for banks. Credit cards. When you use a credit card, you're basically borrowing money from the bank. If you pay the full amount on time, you don't pay interest. But many people don't. They carry forward the balance, and that's where things change. Credit card interest rates can go as high as 30 to 40% per year. That's extremely high. So even a small unpaid amount can grow very fast. Let's say someone spends $50,000 and doesn't pay it back on time. That amount starts increasing quickly due to interest. And the longer it takes, the more the bank earns. But here's something deeper. Banks are not just earning from money, they're earning from behavior. They know people tend to spend more when using credit, delay payments, underestimate interest. This is not accidental. It's predictable, and banks build systems around these patterns. Here's the deeper truth most people miss. Banks don't just manage money, they manage human behavior. Think about it. Why do people feel comfortable keeping money in a bank? Because of trust. Why do people take loans? Because of urgency or desire. Why do people overspend on credit cards? Because it doesn't feel like real money. Banks understand all of this, and they design their systems accordingly. They make saving feel safe, they make borrowing feel easy, and they make spending feel painless. This combination is powerful because once people enter this cycle, they keep interacting with the bank more and more, saving, borrowing, spending, paying fees, and every interaction generates profit for the bank. So in a way, banks don't just profit from money, they profit from habits. Here's something that might change how you think about money completely. The bank is using your money to build wealth, while most people are not. When you deposit money, you earn maybe 3 to 4%, but the bank uses that same money to earn 8%, 10%, even 20% in some cases. So the real difference is not access to money, it's access to knowledge and strategy. Banks understand leverage, they understand compounding, they understand risk management, and they apply it consistently. Meanwhile, most people just save, or worse, spend. So the gap keeps growing, not because banks are unfair, but because they are playing a different game. So what should you actually learn from all this? First, understand that your money should not stay idle. If banks are using money to grow wealth, you should too. Second, be aware of hidden costs. Track your bank charges, avoid unnecessary fees, because small leaks can sink your financial growth over time. Third, use credit cards carefully. They can be powerful tools, but only if you control them. Always pay your full balance on time, never let interest start building. Fourth, start thinking like the bank. Ask yourself, how can I make my money work for me? Instead of just saving, start investing. Even small amounts matter, because the real goal is not just to keep money safe, it's to make it grow. So, how do banks really make money? Not by storing it, but by moving it, lending it, multiplying it, and most importantly, by understanding how people use it. The system is not hidden, it's just not explained simply. And now that you understand it, you have a choice. You can stay as just a customer, or you can start thinking like the system itself. Because at the end of the day, the biggest difference between those who build wealth and those who don't is not how much money they have. It's how well they understand how money works. And once you understand that, you stop playing small and start playing smart.